Halloween is still more than 4 weeks away, but that doesn't mean it's too early to get into the spirit of the spooky season. Coming up, we'll show you how some pet owners and their furry friends enjoyed a frightfully fun event that truly went to the dogs.
In less than a month, people throughout the United States will be casting their ballot in the November elections, including college students. But will you be among the November voters? MCTV's Kylie Phillips has details on the recent event that is helping to make sure student voices are heard.
And the Texas Tech football team hit the road for only the second time this season to take on new Big 12 team on their turf. MCTV's Allie Scott has the details on that showdown and how it left even more marks in the Red Raider history book in sports.
This is the MCTV Weekday Update.
Welcome to the Monday edition of the MCTV Weekday Update. I'm Madilyn Coyne.
And I'm Theresa Brown. The Texas Tech football team headed west this past weekend for the first-time conference showdown in Tucson, Arizona.
The historic matchup for the Big 12 also included a couple additional footnotes in the history book for Texas Tech. MCTV Sports' Allie Scott joins us now for a first look at the Red Raiders' big weekend on the road. Allie?
Thanks, Madilyn. Teresa. Texas Tech fans had a late night on Saturday that extended into the early hours of the morning as Red Raider football took on the Arizona Wildcats. The official start time of the game was 8 p.m. in Tucson, but that translated to a 10 p.m. start here in Lubbock. Regardless of the unusual kick time, Texas Tech came out ready to play and moved to 3-0 in conference after a 28-22 win over the Wildcats. Quarterback Baron Morton put up 214 yards on 17 completions with no interceptions. But the highlights of the evening belong to running back Taj Brooks. Brooks finished the night with 21 attempts for 128 yards and 3 rushing touchdowns. Brooks' performance moved him into third place on the Red Raider all-time career rushing list and less than 500 yards away from all-time leader Byron Hanspart. Brooks has racked up at least 100 yards in every game he's been in this year. With 6 games left during the regular season, Brooks is on track to break the record and move into first place. Saturday's win was also a big one for the team overall, with Texas Tech winning their first 3 conference games for the first time since 2013. During that season, the Red Raiders fell to Oklahoma the following week and finished the season 4-5 in the Big 12. Coming up later in sports, I'll have a full look at highlights from Saturday's game and details on a couple other big victories for Texas Tech athletics. Back to you, Teresa.
Thanks, Allie. Back here in Lubbock, seasonal activities are starting to ramp up here on the fall calendar. Along with harvest-themed activities, one City of Lubbock's department recently continued a spooky tradition featuring man's best friend. On Saturday, the Lubbock Parks and Recreation Department held their 20th annual Dog-A-Day Howl-O-Ween event in McAllister Park. Dog owners were invited to stop by the park between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. to enjoy canine-themed activities, check out pet items offered by local vendors, and participate in a costume contest. This year's competition featured dozens of dogs dressed in their scary best, all competing for first place. Dog Day Howl-O-Ween has been a long-running tradition here in the Hub City, but McAllister's Park has become the official location for the event since a dog park was opened at the location a couple of years ago. The event was also a chance for the Parks and Rec to promote other upcoming events around Lubbock, including the Pumpkin Trail at the Garden and Arts Center during the 3rd weekend of October and Trick or Treat Street at Safety City near the end of the month. For more information on all this month's upcoming events offered by Lubbock's Parks and Recreation Department, visit the website on your screen.
The campus calendar of events was a little more empty this past weekend with the football team out of town, but earlier in the week, there were still plenty of options for students to enjoy and escape from schoolwork. Thursday night, the Student Activities Board took over the sub courtyard for one of their more popular events. The sound of Red Raiders singing filtered throughout the sub during SAB's second karaoke night of the fall semester. Students searched through a curated catalog of hundreds of hits before taking the stage and entertaining an audience of fellow students. Ethan Evans, SAB's nightlife coordinator, says events like karaoke night are not only fun but a good way to help students learn about all the group has to offer.
They make friends, they know about us more, and they can go to our events more, but also it's just a great way to de-stress.
SAB rescheduled karaoke night to last Thursday after unforeseen circumstances led to the event being canceled the previous week. Luckily, this was a rare situation, and SAB continues to hold regular events each week throughout the year. For a full calendar of events and activities hosted by the Student Activities Board this fall, visit sab.ttu.edu and click on the activity calendar link near the middle of the page.
It was another nice weekend here on the South Plains with warm temperatures and lots of sunshine.
Although there have been few changes here in the Lubbock area, there is another big story developing that will soon affect the southeastern United States. Chief Weather Specialist Elisabeth Herring joins us now with details on that story, along with a look at our upcoming conditions in today's MCTV forecast. Elisabeth?
Well, it certainly was a warm weekend here at Texas Tech. Highs in the upper 80s, lower 90s, even though technically it is the fall season. As well as the fall season, it is also hurricane season. Right now, Hurricane Milton is in the Gulf of Mexico, currently a Category 4 hurricane. However, as it moves throughout the Gulf, we could see that increase to a Category 5 hurricane. It is predicted to make landfall in Florida Wednesday evening as a Category 3 or 4 hurricane, moving right across the state of Florida. And just for reference, this is significant considering Hurricane Helene just hit a few weeks ago. The right front quadrant and the right rear quadrant are typically the strongest points of a hurricane, and this is the side of the hurricane that is predicted to hit Florida Wednesday evening. They come with some high winds, tornado risk, storm surges, and flooding. So just keep the residents of Florida in your thoughts and prayers as this hurricane hits Wednesday evening. As we take a look at the lows tonight here in the South Plains, lows in the lower 50s, stretching up to Jayden 60, Aspermont 60, Turkey 57, cooler in Dimmitt with a low of 53, Plainview 51, Morton 53, and clear skies. Tomorrow, warming up once again, another warm one for the South Plains area. Snyder, 89, Turkey, 92, Dimmitt, a little bit cooler, 88, staying under the 90s, Plainview, 88 as well, Morton right at 90 degrees, and sunny skies. Here locally, tonight in Lubbock, low of 58 degrees. Tomorrow, warming up once again with a sunny 91. As we look at the 3-day temperatures, staying rather consistent. Wednesday, high of 93, as well as Thursday with mostly sunny skies, lows in the lower 60s. As we move on into our weekend, Friday, 93, Saturday, a warm one with a high of 95 and sunny skies. Sunday, high of 89 and sunny skies. As we take a look into next week, Monday, we could potentially see a cool front move into the South Plains area. Monday, right now, high of 83 and low of 56. We'll know more about those temperatures as we approach next week, but for now, it looks like we might have some fall weather in the forecast. I'm Elizabeth, and it's back to y'all.
Thanks, Elizabeth. In just over 4 weeks, Americans will make their voice heard during the November elections.
There's a lot of important issues on the ballot and a lot of interest on how the races and issues will shake out, but that only matters if people get out and head to the polls.
MCTV's Kylie Phillips joins us now with details on a recent event focused on one group of people that could have a huge effect on the upcoming election. Kylie?
Thanks, guys. Former Congressman Beto O'Rourke is visiting campuses across the state to mobilize young voters. He was at Texas Tech this past week, where he discussed the importance of voting in this election.
October 7th marks the deadline to register to vote in Texas, and early voting in the state starts in just 2 weeks.
And every voter out there who wonders whether their vote matters, you literally have the power to decide the outcome in 2024.
O'Rourke said that in Texas, no one is expecting Gen Z to turn out and vote. The former congressman is working with Powered by People to register college students.
Once registered, that every voter has what they need to be able to cast that ballot. So where's my nearest early voting location? When does early voting start? October 21st. What kind of ID do I need to be able to cast that ballot?
O'Rourke says that young people choose not to cast their ballot because they feel it won't make an impact.
No one in this country outside of your generation believes that you're going to make a difference. They have already written you off. They've counted you out. You have the opportunity to shock and surprise the world, not just Texas.
The state does not offer online registration, so if you're a first-time voter, you're going to have to mail or hand in your application. Texas residents and college students at Texas Tech can register to vote in Lubbock County or head home to cast their ballot. But to vote by mail, Texans must be 65 or older, have a disability, be incarcerated, be outside of the country, or giving birth within 3 weeks of Election Day.
It is not easy. So it just means that we have to work that much harder to overcome that suppression and that intimidation to make sure that we get people out to vote.
He says that as a country, we have overcome so much to get to where we are today, and that voting is a freedom and something that's at stake this election.
Just remembering that before you're a Democrat or I'm a Republican, or you're of one faith and I'm of another. We are Americans, we're Texans, we're human beings, and we should treat one another with the dignity and respect that we deserve.
The deadline to register to vote in the state of Texas is today. For help registering or to check your voter status, you can head to votetexas.org. For MCTV, I'm Kylie Phillips. Back to you.
Thanks, Kylie. Tech Athletics just finished up another busy weekend with several teams hitting the court and field at home and on the road.
As we mentioned earlier, one of those teams was Texas Tech football. But they weren't the only Red Raiders trying to work their way up in the Big 12 standings. MCTV's Allie Scott joins us again with highlights and scores from the most recent action in sports. Allie?
Thank you, Theresa and Madilyn. This past week, the Red Raiders had a soccer game, 2 volleyball games, and 1 memorable late-night football game on the road that left fans awake into the early hours of Sunday. But we will unpack that later. First, let's talk about the Lady Raiders on the volleyball court and soccer field. Number 1 in the Big 12, the women's soccer team hosted Baylor University on Friday. The Red Raiders ended the game 1-0, leaving the team undefeated at home. Ashley Williams made the game-winning goal, and this one advances the Red Raiders to 10-2-1 overall. Texas Tech defense only allowed Baylor to have 4 shots on goal, while Taylor Zrzetsky and Caitlin Giametta with the Red Raiders had 2 shots on goal each. This Thursday at 7 o'clock, Tech is back at the John Walker Soccer Complex for another Big 12 matchup against the Colorado University Buffaloes. Texas Tech volleyball had a great week at home, winning their Big 12 home opener against the Kansas State Wildcats, with winning set scores of 25-18, 25-21, and 25-15. Mia Wesley led the Red Raiders to a win with her 5th double-double of the season, having 14 kills and 19 digs. Another star player, Bryn Williams, collected 15.5 points throughout the game. However, the Lady Raiders struggled more on the road when they fell in 5 sets against the Colorado University Buffaloes. Although the game ended in a loss, Mia Wesley and Bryn Williams did not slow down. They both ended the game with double-doubles. Williams led the team with 14 kills and 13 digs, while Wesley had 12 kills and 11 digs. Another standout player was Hannah Borer with 2 aces. The Lady Raiders will face off against the Arizona State Sun Devils at the United Supermarkets Arena this Saturday at noon. Red Raider football traveled to Tucson, Arizona on Saturday for their 2nd road test of the season. With a great lead in the first half and running back Taj Brooks running in all of the touchdowns, this game had everyone on the edge of their seats. Texas Tech had a great start in Tucson after quarterback Baron Warren completed a 38-yard pass to freshman Micah Hudson. That led to Taj Brooks' first touchdown of the game. In the second quarter, after a 6-yard pass to Josh Kelly and a 2-yard run by Brooks, Brooks ran it in for another 9 yards on 3rd down for his 2nd touchdown of the game. This gave the Red Raiders the momentum they needed to end the first half with a 15-point lead. After halftime, struggles and pressure were present on both sides. With usual stunner wide receiver Josh Kelly only having 27 receiving yards, junior Caleb Douglas had to step up. That led him to gaining 116 receiving yards. But Arizona's strong defense pushed Tech to punts and kicks, although the Red Raiders pushed right back. However, as the 4th quarter was quickly approaching, the Wildcats had a 19-18 one-point lead. That would not last for long, though, after Wildcats kicker Tyler Loop missed a 48-yard field goal. Red Raider kicker Gino Garcia responded by making his 41-yard field goal, leading to a 21-19 Tech lead. Tech's defense continued to hold down this lead, and in the last few plays of the game, quarterback Noah Fafita completed a pass to Tetaroya McMillan. Buck McMillan fumbled, and Texas Tech Jordan Brennan recovered the ball. And one of the last plays, running back Brooks bulldozed through Arizona's defense, taking it up the middle for a Red Raider touchdown. After Brooks' 3 touchdowns, the Red Raiders won 28-22. Texas Tech now sits at number 1 in the Big 12 with a 3-0 conference record. The Red Raiders now have a bye week, but they will be back at the Jones on October 19th to face off against the Baylor Bears. That's all for Texas Tech sports. Now back to Theresa.
Thanks, Allie. The fall harvest season may be underway, but earlier today, students had a chance to test out their green thumbs before the cold weather sets in. Students passing by the Red Raider Plaza gazebo today had the chance to pot a plant courtesy of the Student Activities Board. Plant Your Own Seed ran from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. and offered participants a free plastic pot, planting soil, and their choice of seeds to start growing some greenery to place in their windowsill. Students could choose from mint, basil, or chamomile seeds to either start or grow their home indoor garden. Hundreds of pots and plants were available for students, helping Red Raiders literally go green. Plant Your Own Seeds is the only plant-based activity on the SAB calendar this fall, but the group pulls out all the stops for the campus's annual Arbor Day festivities that happen every spring here at Texas Tech.
So, Theresa, do you have a home garden?
Sadly, I don't. Anytime I try to grow something, it just refuses to grow.
That's very sad.
It's better than growing and then dying, I guess.
That is very true. All I have is a little cactus, but wouldn't consider that a whole garden, you know?
I'd count it.
That's all for today's edition of the MCTV Weekday Update.
Thanks so much for joining us, and be sure to check ttuhub.net every day for some news. We'll see you on Thursday.